am Michelle Kochosky, the State Family Program Director. How many of you were at one of the previous town hall meetings? Show of hands. And how many of you attended the family mobilization briefing that we had down here? I have to tell you, that was our best audience. You guys had the best number throughout the state, so good job. The reason I asked both of those questions is because we've talked about this website several times. Have any of you logged in? Show of hands. I make it interactive because I realize the sugar you ate is starting to wear off, so I'm trying to keep you going. Well, we're going to talk about the Army BFRG website. The big thing that you need to know about it is all of the soldiers who were loaded to the 41st Brigade organically were loaded in there. So if you're originally 41st and you are still with the 41st, you're in there. If you came to us from the 82nd or Joint Force Headquarters, we're adding you. There is a user's guide to this. We have shortened it down to the key information. So if you're a family member that needs one of the trifolds for directions on how to register for this, if you'll raise your hand and keep it raised, we have a couple people passing out flyers here. So who needs the trifold on directions? Okay, not very many. Soldiers as well, if you need this, we definitely need you to register. The quickest way for the family member to register, I should say the quickest, the easiest way, is if the soldier actually goes in and creates their logon first, and then sends an e-invite to the family member. That does require the soldier to know the family member's email address. But the opposite is, if a family goes in and the soldier has not registered, there are some information bits that they need, including the last 4 digits of the soldier's social security number, and the legal given name as the military knows it, because we took it straight from the Alpha roster. So it's definitely easier if the soldiers invite family members. Now let me give a disclaimer here. Colonel Hokanson said it earlier. When we say family, in my book and family programs, it's anybody who misses the soldier while they're gone. So spouse, parents, siblings, Aunt Sally who lives in North Carolina, the person who's going to pet sit your goldfish and keep your stuff and pick you up from the airport. We're really not that concerned. If you think they should be in here and have this information, then we want them to have it. One of the things about the website, as Colonel Hokanson also mentioned, was it is the secure website. This is where we have the ability to actually place information out there with dates, times, locations of the mobilization ceremony. We're going to be able to share some pictures. We're going to be able to share the overseas mailing addresses. But that also means that you need to use your good common sense whenever you're inviting people to this website and make sure that you realize that they're going to have some of that information. So while we want to encourage people to use it, we also need everybody to help keep the information we have out there safe. Okay, if you will log in for us. So just like with every website, of course, you need to log in, and passwords are pretty easy to create on this. Once you do log in, you will come up with the brigade webpage. We'll give Captain Romero a good chance to log in here. One of the other questions that we get is about if I have a family member who's in another unit, why don't they have one of these? The Army FRG website is geared towards deploying Army units. So if they're from the aviation unit, the Charlie 7158, they are working on their website. So this is a program that's available to all of the deploying units from all 3 branches, the active duty, the reserve, and the National Guard. It is a good way for us to share information, and of course it can be utilized around the world. One of the other big things about the website is we are going to be updating it at least once every 48 hours, so it will continue to be fresh. So you need to get in the habit of logging onto it at least once a week, making sure that you know how to navigate your way around it. Okay. When you first log in, you're going to need to find an FRG, so if you'll click on that. And then you're going to select, of course, the state of Oregon. And then naturally, you're going to select the 41st Brigade. Once you do this, it will automatically bring up the 41st Brigade website as your home page every time that you log in. So if you have a service member in another branch or another part of the Army and you're into theirs, it will be whichever one you visited last. So if you have someone that's on active duty or perhaps in a civil affairs unit out of Portland, it'll be the last one that you visit. I will also tell you that this is a little bit slower when it's on the Army network. When you're using it from home and not on the government line, it's a little bit quicker, so don't be discouraged by this as it sits and thinks. Whenever you do bring up the web page, the first thing that comes up, like most websites, is the current information. It'll show you the hot topics that are coming up. Somebody asked about mailing addresses. You will see out there that currently, whenever you bring up the current information, there it goes, that you will be able to see the current mailing addresses for the unit. One of the big things that we are talking about now, of course, is the free summer camp for military kids. There's a big concern about making sure you can see things on the calendar. So here's what I want to tell you. If you bring up the calendar and you can't see something, it's probably because you need to set your calendar preferences. If you click on the featured, it will automatically show you things like the brigade town halls and that sort of thing. If you want to see things for a particular unit, one of the 186, or maybe you're deployed with them, but you want to know what the 82nd Cav is doing, or the 141, you can select those to see them, and you can constantly change those. So if your calendar, if you're bringing it up and there's nothing populated, it's because you need to change your calendar settings.